Hello, everyone. It's me again. Just thought I'd do a view from the sideline show, and yeah, I'm just here to discuss anything, basically like a live feed, and see what everyone thinks. I'm just waiting for someone to come on. They're running a bit late, but yeah. Any thoughts, any questions, anything you want to ask, put in the comments below, and yeah, I will await people's comments and see what they have to say on the matter regarding West Ham after a pretty mixed bag Monday night. And yeah, it was good, but it wasn't great. If that makes sense. Um, I thought the performance was mixed, to say the least. If you've got any comments, put them in the comment section below. And yeah, I'll answer them while I await my guest to turn up. But yeah, as I say, like first 10 minutes Monday night was awful. Like I'm not being funny. We should have easily been 2-0 down. Couldn't get over an half. Leeds were the better team. They was better all round. They was faster. They was slicker. They was everything, and we got the goal at the right time. And we got the penalty. We scored the penalty just about from the rebound, and then we got the second about 8 minutes later, and it changed the dynamics of the game. And yeah, I believe that that's what it is basically. So yeah, like if anyone's got any thoughts, questions, queries, put them in the comments below. Tell me what you think. But I thought Antonio was poor on Monday. I thought he was poor. I didn't think he was good at all. I thought he was dreadful. I thought he was slow. He looked tired. He should have come off. And why he was on the pitch for 89 minutes, 90 minutes, sorry, I don't know. Right. So yeah, I just wasn't. I couldn't understand that one. I couldn't understand the Ben Rama one. Why he's sitting on the why he got subbed. Can't work that one out. So yeah, it was a good win, but not a good performance in my eyes. So yeah, I'm afraid. But we move on now. We've got Man United coming up, and yeah, it's just one of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what everyone's thoughts are. If anyone's got any comments, put them in the comment section below, and I will answer them. Put them on the live for you and see what you've got to say. I thought, I'll tell you what I did think played well on Monday was Craig Dawson. I thought he played excellent, if I'm honest. And yeah, it was good. He played well. He scored a goal. He defended properly. He got a clearance off the line. What more can you ask for from the man, really? He's done exactly what we wanted him to do, and he's been a revelation this year. I think he works out 2.2 million. He has to complete 2 more games, and he can be signed for 2.2 million, which is an absolute bargain. Like for the man, if we get 3 years out of him, that is the best bit of business we've done. Like we was after Tarkowski for like £35 million, and we've ended up getting Craig Dawson, and it could be the best swerve transfer that we've ever done, because I can't see how I can't think of a signing better than him coming into the team and changing our team. I can't see it myself. So yeah, I thought he was excellent. I thought Ben Rama was good on Monday. I thought he floated about, made things happen, and this man needs to play. It's an issue now. He has to start playing 90 minutes plus. It seems to me that every time Ben Rama he's on the pitch, he's the first one out, to be sort of hooked straight away. And I don't think that's right, if I'm honest. I think it's not fair on him when there's other players who have been worse than him, and basically they've been hooked second and third, and he's the first one out the door. So yeah, I do believe that with old Ben Rama. It'd be interesting to see if he starts up in Manchester. I expect him to start up in Manchester, and if he doesn't start up in Manchester, questions need to be asked, especially with no Lingard. So yeah, it's a big sort of thing with Ben Rama at the minute. I thought Fabianski played well Monday. Like, if I was to go through the whole team, I thought he made some good saves, come out at right times. It was a good team performance, a professional performance, considering we had got the goals. But the performance itself as a whole was poor. Right, the first 10 minutes was all over the place. After 20 minutes, we sort of got to grips with it, moved back in, Fornals back into midfield. We sort of played like a 4-4-2 system, 4-3-3 system, and then we picked up the ball and was running at Leeds. And Ben Rama and Lingard together were awesome, like passing and moving. Lingard, you can just tell by the talent that he's got, like how he drives into advancing positions and takes people on and creates fouls for himself. And I think he was first class yet again. Wasn't his best game, but yet again he made something happen from like the situation. Gets the penalty, wins the penalty, takes the penalty. I wasn't convinced, if I'm honest. When he stepped up, I just didn't fancy him to score. And if I'm honest, when he stepped up, I actually knew in my heart that I thought he'd miss, and he did. And basically, when he missed, got the rebound, put it away. Luckily, we got the goal, 1-0 up. And then we played all right after that. Then Ben Rama floating about again. Ball comes in, has a shot on goal, wins a corner. Cresswell swings it in, 2-0. Dawson. And yeah, I thought he was top class. Cresswell again. You mean another assist for a left back or left-sided centre back. So yeah, it was a good showing in the first half. Like, Dawson hit the post. Second half, awful. Now I will say that quite openly. We should have conceded a goal in the 47th minute. Bamford goes through, should have scored, spoons it wide. Then Rafinha, who I thought was the best player for Leeds on Monday, has a chance, a deflection off Diop, straight in to Fabianski, who does a great save. Rafinha with a shot again, another chance. And yeah, it was a good defensive display, but we got away with murder on Monday. So yeah, to me, I just think to myself, like, I'm glad our captain picked up on it yesterday or on Monday, and turned around and said that it was a good win, but wasn't a good performance. But yeah, so let's bring someone in. West Ham Online. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to the show today.
Right. And basically, talk to me. Tell me, what was your thoughts on the game on Monday?
I saw your post-match reaction, and I agree with the majority of it, if I'm honest. I thought, once again, it wasn't a great performance, but we've seen that on a few occasions this season where, I hope you agree with me, we've not been the best in a few games, but we've grinded out the wins. And honestly, in most of them, you'll see we ended up keeping a clean sheet. So what Moyes seems to be really good at doing is getting the wins no matter what, which for me is perfect. I'm completely fine with a few not so good performances as long as we get the win. I thought there was a 20-minute section at the end of the first half in which we played good football. Apart from that, it was relaxed.
Mm.
A good defensive display overall, and I thought Fabianski he installs a lot of confidence into me compared to the other keepers.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I thought Fab played all right. I must admit, I was quite
Yeah,
impressed considering he's come back from injury. I thought he played well. I thought every time he come out and gathered, he gathered well. He never spilt anything. What did you make of the second half?
um, I can see why we played like we did in the second half. At the end of the day, Leeds are known for their attacking. It would have been stupid to just keep going forward at a drastic rate because they can score a goal like that. Leeds. Um, the majority of the time they finish their chances well as well. You'll see against Arsenal, for example, Arsenal were 3 or 4 nil up and they carried on going forward. Leeds scored 2 goals, and if I'm honest, it should have been more. So I can see
Mm,
David Moyes has obviously looked at the previous Leeds games. They've had a few comebacks as well, and he's probably thought we'll just sit back, relax for the rest of the game. Well, not relax
mm,
isn't the right word, but hold what we've got basically.
mm. Right, let me ask you this: Craig Dawson, James Tarkowski, 35 million for one, 2.2 for the other. Um, compare the two players and tell me right now how good Craig Dawson has actually been for us this season.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I was thinking about this the other day because I watched Tarkowski play. I can't remember who he played. It was before the Arsenal. Oh, they played Tottenham and he got ran ragged. He was shocking, if I'm honest. I think this season, although I still do rate Tarkowski as a defender, what a deal it was to get Dawson because they're so similar in the fact they're Brexit defenders. They get their body on the line, yet Dawson just seems to know what it's like to play for West Ham. If that makes sense, he plays for the badge. Um, he doesn't look like a player that's going to kick up a fuss. Defensively, he's brilliant, no nonsense, and I even think as of late his passing is much better than when he came into the team because when he came into the team against Everton, for example, first 20 minutes, I was like, my God, this guy can't stay in the team. His passing is an embarrassment. Um, but he's not being ridiculous with it anymore. He's getting it long when he needs to. He's playing it simple. He's just doing everything that we need from him at the moment. And 2.2 million is an absolute bargain.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Um, if you was to do the list of contenders for Ham of the Year and you got four players to pick from, who's your four players?
My four players are Declan Rice, Thomas Suchek, Vladimir Sufel.
Hmm.
Oh God. See, I want to say Ogbonna because before he got injured, he was probably my choice. But now I'm debating whether to do I go Dawson. I'll stick with Ogbonna for the moment.
But if Dawson continues the way he's going and performance after performance, goal after goal, he's surely got to be up there for one of the Ham of the Year. Surely, like
Yeah,
as in
yeah, I
his
agree.
performances, like since he's come in since December the 29th, I think it is, or 30th against Southampton, he's been top draw. Really, I've never seen a player play so like well consistently over a period of time. I think he makes Diop look better. I think he Vladimir Kufal, like to me, I love the man. I think he's first class. He didn't play. I wouldn't say he played great on Monday, but he didn't really play bad. He just played like standard. To
Yeah,
me,
isn't that? Yeah, yeah.
when he plays standard, then that's a decent performance in my eyes because I don't think I've ever seen him really play bad. What did you make of Ben Rama?
I thought Ben Rama was terrific. I thought some of his turns and the way he linked up with Lingard and Fornal was brilliant. I thought he was the main player who was carrying us forward when we were struggling.
Mm,
Um, as you say, you know what skill he's got in the ball. That isn't a debate, and I think Moyes knows that as well. And me and you have had a discussion a couple of times about the sub already, and I
mm,
personally would have kept him on. But I can sort of see what Moyes was thinking. Not in the fact that I do think Antonio should have been the one to come off.
Yeah.
But it would have been stupid to take off Lingard when he can't play against Man United, for example. So I can see why he did it.
Yeah. And before we sort of go on to other things, what do you reckon on Sunday? To me, this game is a big one in my eyes because this game's not the game in hand. The next week's game's the game in hand against Arsenal because they've got all FA Cup and they've played their FA Cup games early. So this game on Sunday against Manchester United, if we go up there and get any sort of positive result, I believe that we are massively in the running for the top four. I can't predict it at the minute because you've got 11 games to go. And I'm sorry, but if anyone can predict it now that we're going to get top four, then I'm sorry, they're deluded because you just can't. Like, but what do you think on the Man United game, especially with no Lingard?
Yeah, it does worry me not having Lingard because I thought going forward in the FA Cup game we were pathetic. If I'm honest, but I thought Ben Johnson was our best player going forward, and no offense to him, but he's literally a fullback. So I am a bit worried about not having Lingard, but then you got to say until Lingard only joined in January, and we were still in the top 7 before he joined. So I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I'm not thinking, oh, it's a if I'm honest, I'm saying 0-0 at the moment. That's my current prediction.
Yeah. If someone said to me right now, would you take a draw up there? I'll take it happily.
I would too, yeah.
How do you think they're set up there?
The thing about United, I stand by this as well. I said this the other day. I can't remember whose show I was on. It may have even been my own, which is quite ironic. But I said I actually think we play better football than United, and at times we don't play the best of football. I think United, honestly, a lot of the times when I've seen them this season, I watch probably every United game. They don't play that good. They're relying on a moment of brilliance from Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I do. No, my camera isn't on.
Yeah.
He's relying on a moment of brilliance from Bruno Fernandes, sorry, and or Marcus Rashford. You'll see in the Wolves game, they got tactically outdone by Nuno.
Yeah.
It was a draw in the last minute, and they got lucky deflection. For example, Aston Villa, last minute block by Eric Bailly, kept them in the game. Just things like that. I definitely think we have a chance.
How important is it that they've got Europa League football on Thursday night?
Very important, especially the fact that it's AC Milan. If it was someone like Dinamo, the mugs that Tottenham have got, then I'd be saying, oh, they could rest a few players. But AC Milan, let's face it, they're a better side than us. So United are going to have to put a good team out if they want to beat them. I don't know how much Ollie's going to go for the Europa League, whether he cares about it at all, but I think it would be stupid for him not to because he's not won a trophy yet as a United manager.
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree there. I think it's massively important that they go for it. They go for it for a trophy, FA Cup or Europa. I don't think they win the league now because I think Man City have won the league already. I think they're just jogging along to the touchline basically and seeing where they're. It's just a matter of time basically. But that game is massive. Obviously, I'm hoping that they sort of AC Milan sort of push them all the way. I'm hoping Man United don't come out, blitz them 2 or 3, and then all their subs come off. Do you know what I mean? If that game's tight or AC Milan score early, and Man United have got to go up a few gears, then that's going to work in our favour, especially for Sunday night. I agree with you though, totally. I think if we can get a draw up there, obviously I want us to win, but if we get a draw up there, that's a good result. And if we get a draw up there, then beat Arsenal the following week, 4 points from Man United and Arsenal, I'll take that all day. Do you know what I mean? Go on, mate.
I was just going to say, if I'm honest with you, James, the one I'm really looking at in terms of fixture congestion is Arsenal because they've got 2 games against Olympiacos and obviously that massive North London derby. Now, I don't care where they are in the league, they're going to try win that game. So
Mm.
the fixtures in terms of the teams we're playing, in terms of congestion and how difficult they are in the upcoming weeks, is in our favour.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm looking at it game by game. At the end of the day, you can't. Everyone who I've seen on different platforms saying, right, you got to think of points and other teams. If we win every game, we're in the top four because we
Yeah,
beat all the teams around us. We beat the Chelsea, we beat the Leicester, beat the Everton, and basically we will be there. So we've just got to use it game by game, and we've got to be sensible, like in our approach to games. Um, but yeah, I agree totally. I've just this game on Sunday, sorry. If we go up there and we get any sort of positive result, and the following week we get a win against Arsenal, I'll take that all day. Going into Wolves and Leicester. Now Leicester are still in the FA Cup, and they might even look at that. They've got no Madison, no Barnes, so they've got a team there that can be got at. Obviously, they've still got a decent team, no Justin. But as I've said it before, and I say it again, we're playing these teams at the right times, and they're like all the big guns or the top six traditionally. They've all got European football, and we're getting them right now. So it's a good time to play them.
yeah,
That's what I believe. Do you know
yeah.
what
I
I mean?
completely agree with you. It is a good time to play them.
Yeah.
I think we've got the hardest fixture out of the way now in Man City. We don't have to play them again.
Mm.
And I thought we played really well in that game. So there's no reason for us not to be optimistic.
Where do you think we will finish, and where does your head think we'll finish? Where does your heart say we're going to finish?
Um, well, obviously my heart's saying we're gonna get top four, but if I'm honest, I don't actually think we will get top four. I think Leicester will hold out. They're the ones who I think is dropping out. If anything, I think Chelsea look fantastic at the moment.
Mm.
And United beat Man City, so I think their lead's just too prominent, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah.
So, and I just think Leicester, they'll be able to grind out a few results. They'll be able to grind out enough to finish at least a point or two in front of us.
Yeah, I reckon Leicester's can be got at. I think they're so inconsistent and they're getting away with it in a few games, if I'm honest. They against Brighton the other week, they won 2-1. They should never have won that game. They went 1-0 down, I believe, and they was all over the place and then they managed to nick it. I honestly believe the games that might sway it for us is the Leicester home game, the Everton home game. And I know people say this is a different West Ham, and I do agree with that. But games like Burnley away, Wolves away, Brighton away, we never win there. As I've seen it before, we go up to Burnley. I think we've won once since Burnley have been in the Premier League up there, and that was about 5-6 years ago. Like we don't win up in Burnley. We usually draw or lose that game. Wolves, we've got a rotten record up there. Brighton, it's always a draw or a loss. Like so, them three games plus the Leicester game, the Everton game at home. If we get points out of them, or we get any sort of positive results out of them 4 or 5 games, then I would say, you know what, we can definitely get there. Do you know what I mean? And the longer they stay in the league, like Europa League and Champions League, the better for us because when they see a trophy and they see top four, the trophy takes more value over the top four. So that's where we could slip in and sort of just treat game by game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I believe. You know what I mean? Moving on. Right, I'll get on to one of the issues. Fabianski signed a new contract. Thoughts?
I don't know if I'll be in a small majority of the fan base on this one, but I'm one of those who do not think we should be wasting because I think it will end up be wasting because I think we'll have a small budget this summer. Not small,
Mm,
but GS, we know what the board are like, and I have no reason
mm,
to believe it'll be a massive change. So I think from what I've seen from Fabianski, especially in the last few times he's played, he's been back to his 18-19 form for me. I think he's been brilliant. I see no reason why we can't hold on to him as number one for one more year.
Mm. But if you was to go and pick a goalkeeper that you would want, but realistically want, who would you go after?
If it wasn't a problem with budget, I'd definitely say Nick Pope because I'm a big fan of his. I think shot stopping wise, he's probably one of the best in Europe.
Mm.
But obviously our budget at times is tight, to say the
Yeah.
least. So I do look at Sam Johnston from West Brom. I am a big fan of his. Although they've conceded a lot of goals, I really do think he's a really good keeper.
Right. Let me ask you this: what do you see in Sam Johnson, like as in a goalkeeper? Because I'll be honest with you, he's a good goalkeeper, but I just don't see it myself. When I look at Areola and I look at him,
Mm-hmm.
I can just see Areola as a bit of a better goalkeeper. Like he's more suited for the playing on the floor, basically out. But tell us what you think about Johnson.
See, the thing for me is, I watched basically every West Brom game last season as well, and because I just wanted to watch the Angana,
Mm.
and Johnston is just last season he wasn't. This season he just seems to have gone up a notch. If I'm honest, some of
Yeah.
the saves he's made are brilliant. I'm not too bothered about his ability with the ball at his feet because we aren't that sort of team, and at times it does annoy me seeing teams that aren't capable of it try passing out the back, losing the ball and conceding. Johnson for me is just a really dependable keeper. I
Mm.
don't know if I don't know if you remember, but when we signed Fabianski, there was actually quite a lot of people saying that. Then they were saying, "Well, why are we going for a relegated keeper for? He's definitely not
Mm.
better than Adrian." And I've got to hold my hands up. I was like, when Liverpool came along, first game of the season, I thought, "Oh, Adrian, I'd start Adrian for this game."
Mm.
But Fabianski ended up being our player of the season. So I think with keepers, it's just about finding bargains.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me ask you this: Nathan Trott, would he make it at West Ham as the first choice goalkeeper? Now, I look at this lad. He's been out on loan, but he hasn't pulled any trees up, right? Basically, he hasn't sort of like the reports that have come back haven't been to a level where you think, you know what, he can come in and challenge next year. I just want to see what you think about Nathan Trott.
I said it on another show the other day. I'd rather have Pixie lot in goal at the moment.
Mm.
I even thought when he came on in the FA Cup, I don't know if you remember, but Doncaster hit the bar and his positioning was just really worrying then. That was always a shaky
Mm.
sign. I remember going and seeing him at Southend. He was playing for Wimbledon against Southend not too long ago. I think it was maybe 2 years ago.
Mm.
Just looked really shaky. He seemed to get overpowered quite a lot, seemed quite slight in his stature. He didn't seem
Yeah.
to come up the penalty box as much as Fabianski does. I was on his side as well, and you know what Southend's like, a really tin pot. Like you can hear everything they're saying. He didn't sound like a leader to me of his defence
Mm.
either. So I have no doubt that he's a good shot stopper. I think he is a good shot stopper, but there's too many elements of his game I don't think he'll iron out in order to become a Premier League goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree on that. I just don't see it myself. Goalkeeper is one of the most important positions, along with like it's the spine of your team. It starts with your goalkeeper, and if you ain't got a decent goalkeeper, you're gonna concede goals. You're gonna be in a lot of trouble if you've got a poor goalkeeper. And it proves it with Ramsdale at Sheffield United. Sheffield United have got a goalkeeper that 3 years ago was playing against in the Wimbledon team that beat us, and now he's playing in the Premier League with them. And I'll be honest with you, when I look at Ramsdale, he's not a Premier League player in my eyes. He just does not do it. He's been relegated twice. He's going to be relegated with Sheffield United, so that will make it twice. And yeah, I just look at it that if I was to go and get a goalkeeper, he needs to be someone who's vocal, strong, knows the league, knows what to expect each game. And we can't make the mistake of having Roberto number two. Like we can't do that again. Like going out and getting a goalkeeper from Spain or Portugal who has got no idea what they're walking into. and when they do, they're just completely exposed.
Yeah, I agree. We need a
Mm,
keeper that is proven in the Premier League, in my opinion. I don't want
mm.
to see us going out to other leagues and like the La Liga and buying a keeper. I want a keeper that's proved it in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, we'll move on to him, and then we'll talk about a few transfers and players that we think should come to the club. Mark Noble, one more season, his open letter. What's your thoughts?
Um, well, I saw your tweet immediately, and obviously I've known you for quite a while now on here, and you
Mm,
said that you were teary eyed reading his letter,
yeah,
and for any West Ham fan, it was a sad thing to read. It was more of just a realization, just the the flooding back of the memories of the final days at Upton Park and
mm,
the promotion charge in 2012. It was just more than memories flooding back. Obviously, in my opinion, he can't go on much longer for the sake of the team. He's
yeah,
just not at it anymore.
mm,
Um, so it's not like we're losing a player who, like when Gerrard left Liverpool, he was still an unbelievable footballer. Mark Noble's a good footballer, but he's not at the pace of the Premier League now, and I think he knows. I think he's doing it for the club's sake. He's being
yeah,
unselfish and saying, if this club is going to move forward, as a
mm.
fan, I can't keep giving Moyes the options, bring me on, basically. And I think it's the right decision, but also a sad decision.
I think what he's done also, like saying that, I think what he's done is he's seen the club's in good hands now. Like, whereas the
Yeah,
club has always, it's never been in good hands for the time. I must admit, I am the man is loyal to the core, and I love that in a footballer. Footballers nowadays, they stay at a club 2 3 years, and then they look for a move. Like they see pound signs. That man's never seen any pound signs. He stayed with us through thick and thin, relegations, heartache in 2006 when we got when Gerrard scored that goal in the FA Cup, and it went to penalties and we lost. Uh, the Great Escape with Tevez, the administration, like threats from the Icelandic bankruptcy. Uh, there's loads. There's loads that the man has been through. He's been through relegations with us, and he's never walked away. Players who have been relegated have walked away to further their career. He hasn't. He's stayed around. He's been loyal. He's got us back to where we deserve to be because we are a big club. And yeah, when I read his letter, I'm not afraid to say it. I was teary eyed because that might be the last time we ever see a long term player at the club who who's a one club man. If that makes sense. So to me, yeah, it's a sad. It's going to be sad next year when he actually does go. But it's important that he's a part of something at West Ham, like the coaching staff or something, because I think if you've got him and Noland together in that coaching staff with Moyes and all of them there, we we're building. We've never really had a good backroom staff. Like our backroom staff of years gone by has been horrendous. Like some of
yeah.
them have just been absolutely not worth the time of day. But we're starting to build from within, and I think seeing Declan Rice as captain now of this club shows that where we're going. And I think it's the best thing that's happened is Declan Rice being captain because he will attract players like your Jesse Lingard to the club because that is the presence of the man. Noble's been good, but he hasn't been world class. Like he hasn't ever been sort of in that world class bracket. But when I look at Declan, Declan's a world class footballer. He's world class box to box. He's only 21, and he can be anything he wants to be. And I do hope like, that Declan stays with us for a hell of a long time. Um, so yeah, how would you how would you like to remember Noble?
I was having a thought of this yesterday. I just want him to. I hope the final game of next season's at Upton Park, if I'm honest, because I don't want his last game to be an away game. Although we'll still do the tribute at home. I just want his final game to be at
Mm,
home. final game of the season. I want banners. I want everyone to get a colour card in order to build a picture, if that makes sense. You know, like we've done years before. Billy, like when we had the Billy Bonds tribute for his stand, there was loads of pictures everywhere, things on the pitch, things like that. We want to see things like that, as much claret and blue as possible, and then he can just give his little tribute, and then walk around the pitch with fans chanting his name, and if we win the game, it's a bonus.
Yeah, I agree. He needs to be a home game, really. And do you know what? I'm proud of him because he stood up to the board at the beginning of the year with the Dean Garner thing, saying it ain't acceptable that like we're getting rid of our young players. Fair enough. They brought in Ben Rama, but I'm glad he sort of put his foot down with this because he's been through it so many times with us. Eventually, it gets a bit tiring after a little while. Do you know what I mean? When you keep seeing the team that you love keep getting destroyed and beaten and all that. And now we've got a team that I look at, not just on paper, but on the pitch, that we can all be proud of and say, you know what, we're going out there. And if we lose games, we're not disheartened as fans.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, moving to the ball, that's a different issue. And that's a completely different issue altogether. But with regards of him and what he's done with the club, and I think his loyalty deserves a lot of respect because he could have walked away. There was many years ago, Tottenham were looking at him as a to sign him, and it was close. From what I heard, it was close that he could have went there, but he didn't. He stayed with us, and basically he said, "No, I'm staying here. Right, this is the team," and he's been with us ever since. So if next year it's going to be his last season, hopefully we get some sort of silverware. That would be lovely, like a League Cup, FA Cup, you know what I mean, Champions League if we fancy it. so yeah, but you just hopefully we get something that he can remember us by, because at the minute all he's remembering us by is all the bad stuff, basically. I don't know what you think about that.
I think the most fond memories for Noble will be the crowd and the fans. If I'm honest, the spirit of the club. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you want to take it, I think the most fond memories are at Upton Park, not the current stadium. The final game at Upton Park is my personal favourite ever West Ham memory. Awesome night it was, and a sad one as well. But I think it was more a night of taking everything in and appreciating what you got.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. Yeah, I just think that it's going to be a sad time. Like it's going to be like a new dawn. Like, because obviously, I think deep down, Mark knows that he's seeing things behind the scenes now that he can go, you know what, it's time for me to bail out and say, you know what, enough's enough now. We can all walk away. I can walk away and basically say, yeah, like he's not walking away in a way that he's leaving us in lumber, if that makes sense. He's leaving us in a good time, in a good period in West Ham. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, it will give us time to sort of rebuild, find a player that can match, like another Mark Noble, and yeah, go from there basically. So yeah, it's going to be a sad time, but yeah. But moving on, as the summer approaches, nice weather and transfer business.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like? If you, first of all, how much do you reckon we will be given, as in a budget? And second of all, who do you think we should sign?
Okay. Firstly, on the budget, I reckon 70 God, that's too hot. 60 million, I'll say right now. But that's with the outgoings of Lanzini and Anderson as well, in my opinion. So I think net spend will be about 40 million, and which, in my opinion, if we want to keep pushing up this end of the table, it's not enough. But that's what I think we'll get. Secondly, I've got a podcast coming out soon, actually, with Euro Expert, who is someone who specialises in European football activity. Got great knowledge of the Czech league, the Spanish league, and especially Serie A and Liga. And the Serie is a name that popped up. Interestingly, in the Serie, I don't know if you saw, but he got 2 goals against Dortmund last night. But I don't believe he's the striker for us. He's actually slower than Haller.
Right.
I don't believe that he'd be a good fit for us in the Premier League. I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but the main player I want is Ivan Toney from Brentford. I think
Totally
he's
agree.
perfect.
Totally agree with you there on the Ivan Toney thing. I'll be honest with you. I think he's made for the Premier League, and he's another Antonio. He's another Antonio in the making. Totally agree. Who else do you think?
Well, what we were speaking about on there, me and him were saying, if we get Tony for 20 to 30 million, and we sell Anderson or a Lanzini, in my opinion, we need 2 strikers. I think you need 3 strikers to compete at the top level. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
opposed to bringing in Bouladia, who we were linked to in January, because of his hard work, and he's very similar to Antonio in the way he plays, and I think he would really suit our system, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of names. Adam Armstrong. Yes or no?
I wouldn't say no. Do I think he'd be brilliant for us? No.
Right. Panson Daka.
No, not for me. He's playing in a league in which keepers come out of their position and play centre backs and become the best centre back in the league. Believe it or not, that's actually true. Yes, he has huge potential, and once again, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Do I think he's the right player for us now, though? No.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree there. I think the Winston Reid Brentford deal is like a little sweetener for at
Yeah.
the end of the season. That they go, right, how much do you want for Tony? If they say, right, we want, say, 25 million, we can go, there you go, there's 15 million or 18 million, and you can have Winston Reid. And I think that's what they might do on that. All depends if they go up. If they go up, then I don't think that happens. But if they don't go up, I think it does happen all day. I think Winston goes there. I think we get Ivan Toney and we drop him 15 to 18 million. I like Adam Armstrong. I think he's young, he's exciting, he's got pace. He's like another Bowen type player. But what I like about him, he's a striker, and he's in this league. Pace kills, and that's what we need. We need pacey players. We don't need going for the Haller. Haller technically was decent, but as in the like all round game as like pace and all that, he's not. He weren't all that. So yeah, I would like to see us bring in 2 strikers if I'm honest. Like because Antonio, we can't rely on Antonio's fitness record, as we all know. Like the man gets injured multiple times in the season, and if you're relying on the man to sort of score us goals, he's got to be on the pitch, and he's very rarely on the pitch. But yeah, I see something the other day. I don't know what about you, Josh Brownhill, I think his name is from Burnley. We've been linked with him for 10 million. What do you make of him?
His tackle success and the amount of tackles he wins is amongst the best in the division. Tackles and I can't remember whether it was tackles or interceptions. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was tackles, but I'll have a check after this. He's obviously a player that wins the ball back well. Am I a huge fan of him? And unfortunately, I do watch a lot of Burnley. No, I think he's a good enough backup. Do I think he'd be good enough to start for us? No, not in my opinion. But for 10 million, it's not a bad deal at all.
How many players do you think we need?
I think right now, ahead of next season, if we want to compete at this level again, we, in my opinion, need another left back, 2 strikers, and a midfielder.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the
Meant,
thing. I think a goalkeeper is needed, though. I know we've signed Fab, but yet again, we're relying on a player whose injury record's not. Like, I would like us to go and even loan a goalkeeper for a season, just as a good backup, just in case. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, if we go back to last season, before Fabianski got injured at, I think it was Bournemouth, we was doing all right. Was
yeah,
playing well, was doing everything was well. As soon as he got injured, he went down and Roberto went in goal. I know how bad Roberto was, but the class from up there to down there was completely like night and day. And it was just basically like, what's going on here? Basically, we've got a player here who just doesn't know how to be a goalkeeper. Like I could have went into the fan base and found a better goalkeeper than the goalkeeper that we had. Do you know what I mean? So it is important that we make sure we get a goalkeeper. I agree with you on the left back. I'm not a fan of Mazuaku. Myself, I think he's all right for a left fullback, but as a natural left back, not for me. Doesn't do it. Central midfield, I think we need two central midfielders because I think like with the players we're going to lose, which I'm going to get onto in a minute, we need backup in there, and we just haven't got anyone. Do you know what I mean? Well, the only central midfielder we've got is Noble, and that is
yeah.
it. Like, so every other player is basically like an attacking. They haven't got like sort of a defensive mindset, if that makes sense. And let's be honest, if we're going to put Noble in there, then he's not. Noble's all right to come on for the last 15 minutes to shut a game down, but not to start 90 minutes, if that makes
Well,
sense. Do you know what
can
I
I
mean?
put a name forward for you, James? See what you
Go on
think
then.
of this player. We were linked with him last January, and I'm a huge fan of him.
Mm.
Plays for Sheffield United. Had
I bet I
injury.
know. I bet I know who you're going to say.
Who are you
Is
going
he
to
a
say?
central? It's either going to be Lundstrom or it's going to be Fleck.
No,
I think.
it's not.
No.
It's Sander Berger.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. He's not bad. He's not bad. We did get linked with him.
Yeah.
The only problem with him, he's had a right bad injury this season. That's one of the reasons why Sheffield United. Yeah, he's a good player. I like Sander Berger. We did get linked with him. I like John Fleck, mate. I really do. I think, like, as a player, I like him. Lundstrom gets stuck in. I think he's a good one to get. But yeah, Sander Berger, it's a good shout, that one. I must admit. If we can get him on a good deal, then yeah, I'd take him all day. Who do you think we sell, or who do you think will leave in the summer?
I think Yarmolenko will go.
Yeah,
I think I genuinely don't think we'll be able to get rid of Anderson. I think he'll stay, and maybe go out on loan again. I think Lanzini will go.
mm,
Whew, I think that's a Balbuena. I think Balbuena will go back to Brazil. And
mm.
I'm quite not sad, but I don't think that's great news for us. I think he's a very dependable backup.
Who's that? Who's that? Balbuena.
Balbuena, yeah,
Um, I like him as a defender. I think he can defend. The only issue I have is he's slow. And people say, yeah, but he's a good defender and all that. Yeah, he's a great defender. But I'll tell you, the game that done it for me was the Tottenham away game. He got absolutely rinsed in the first 16 minutes. And Son went on him, run past him like multiple times. And it was just like, we need pacing. One thing with Issa Diop is he's athletic.
mm-hmm.
And Balbuena isn't. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I know it sounds a backup, but then if we've just signed Alves, the youngster from a Danish team, and we'll get on to him in a minute.
Yeah. We spoke about him the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, and
Potentially
like
he's gone.
I think if I'd rather have a youngster who's got pace rather than a 20. I think he's 29. I think 28, 29,
Yeah, he is, yeah.
who may be losing his pace, if that makes sense. But yeah,
It is a good point, but my issue is, I don't know if you know, but Dawson's injury record actually isn't good. Overall, he's had quite a few injuries. I'm quite surprised he's been without any injuries this year. Ogbona's had an injury this year. I don't think he's an injury prone, but
Yeah.
it is a worry. And then if Balbuena goes, you've just got Diop and Alves, and that's not good enough for me as a partnership.
Yeah. I understand that. I do understand that, and obviously we've got to have to see. But like we'll see about who will go. Then do you know what I mean? How much do you reckon West Ham will get for the players that will leave?
I think you'll get 8 million for Lanzini.
Yeah.
Balbuena's going to go for free. Unfortunately, because of his contract situation. Yarmolenko, I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, but I can only see us getting about 4 or 5 million for him, and that's if he lowers his wage demands massively. And Anderson, I think on his day, Anderson's a 20 million player. Will we get 20 million for him? No.
Yeah.
15.
Do you think though, if Lanzini goes, does that does that let Anderson back in the doorway, as in like a possible backup for the team? That's the only thing I say. Like, because the way I look at it is with Lanzini, is he's done his time at West Ham. He's been with us since 2015, I think, right? And basically, if he goes, Anderson comes in as like the second string, sort of thing, second player to come in. Obviously, I think Anderson doesn't do it. He doesn't cut the league. He come in, he tore it up in the first season. Second season, he went missing. It's just like I don't know what's happened there, but I think I was hearing like stuff like we're going to get something like 35 million for Anderson, Yarmolenko, and Lanzini. Now, I'm sorry, whoever gives 35 million needs to be shot. Do you know what I mean? Because I could probably agree with you partly on the Lanzini one. You might get 10 million because he could go and do a job in France or somewhere like that, or even South America. Like he's only young. How old's Lanzini? I think Lanzini's about 29, 30. So he's still got a couple of good years.
He's 27. Lanzini.
27. So he's still got age on his side. But in regards of like Anderson, I like, how can I put it? At Porto, he can't even get in the Porto team, and then you've got Tony Martinez, who's in the Porto team. Do you know what I mean? Who's ex-West Ham.
It's bad. I wouldn't want to see him back here. I know you said as a second string, which I can totally see. I don't know whether you'd want that, but I personally wouldn't want it. Just because I think his levels of intensity is such a drop off compared to the others. He just plays football so casually, which can be good if you don't constantly drop 2 out of 10 performances. And I'm sorry, that man is more inconsistent than a pair of Gemma Collins jeans. Like, he's just breaking all the time.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think what done it for me was the Porto loan deal. I think if you go over to Porto and you're getting in their team, maybe you can get a decent fee for him. But I'm sorry, but he's had 2 appearances in this calendar year, I believe, and I'm sorry, that ain't good enough. Like, he's supposed to be over there to try and get in their team, and you can't even get in their team. Do you know what I mean? So, where do I see Anderson going next year? Maybe back to Italy, or I can see him going back to South America myself. I just don't think he's cut out for European football. He was, but then the drop off is massive, like absolute massive, and it's sad to see because I liked Anderson. I like the way he played, but we will see. We will see on that front. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the Yarmolenko thing, I agree totally. I think he's, as I say before, and I say it again, you can score goals for Ukraine, and when you're playing teams like Belarus, Liechtenstein, and Estonia, but when you're up against Premier League defenders, it's a different game. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we're asking a geezer to come in and be a second choice striker, and not for me. But moving on.
Yeah, that goes back to me. That goes back to the Patson Daka link for me as well. It's all right playing. It's all right doing well against defenders who probably spend half their time earning their wage in the local library because the league's that poor. Like Yarmolenko playing against Belarus, Liechtenstein, like you said, half them defenders. I'm sorry, they can't kick the ball, but like it's genuinely an embarrassing standard from them players, and that's why I wasn't a huge fan of the Patson Daka link.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree totally. But as I say, moving on to Alves, the youngster. Tell us your thoughts on him. I know you get a good report back from what you've been hearing.
Yeah, so I know a few of the players who I'm not sure if I'm having any Wi-Fi issues at the moment, but I seem to be lagging. But I know a few of the players in and around the under 23s, under 21s, and the squad, the actual squad. I won't say who, but basically, some players have said that he, and some that used to play with this specific player as well, who I've spoke to recently, have said that they remind him on the ball of a young Rio Ferdinand in the way that he brings the ball out from the back. His passing is fantastic. He's really, really composed on the ball. And defensively, he's improving. The only thing he has to improve on is a bit like Diop in the fact that composure seems to be his main issue.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard. I didn't realise it, but he's actually 2-footed, so which is great for a centre half. Like he can play with both feet. And when I was on a channel the other day, and I said, "Is he Brazilian?" He actually is Brazilian. He's got a Brazilian mother, but he was born in Denmark. So he's
my God.
he's actually a good player that. Maybe like if we can get European football next year and things, he will be a massive asset to us because he can go and play in them sort of European games, League Cup games, and yeah, we can get a right good look at him.
It gives you that option as well, James, doesn't it, to play two ways. If we're under pressure and we need to start building attacks, we need someone who can pass the ball out the back. And I don't think Dawson or Ogbonna are brilliant on the ball. Diop certainly isn't. He's like Bambi on ice half the time.
Dawson, for all the good things Dawson does, I agree there. He's not good. When the ball comes to his feet, sometimes he gets his feet get caught under him sort of thing. And obviously with the pressing game of the Premier League at the minute, that is a problem because people will figure that out and make sure they press high up on him because they know the ball's going to go to him and he could lose the ball. There was a time when that happened at Villa Park in the season when we won 3-1
Watkins. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know the moment you're talking about. Yeah.
Basically, it was like for all the good stuff he does, that's the only thing I would say is a bit of a fault in him. But as I say, he's been top draw along with a few others. But hopefully Alves comes good. Like some of these youngsters that we do have at the club at the minute, some of them need to sort of start stepping up and either going out on loan. Like, let me ask you, I'm going to fire a couple of names at you. Connor Coventry, is he what do you make of him? Because I don't see the hype myself. Like everyone's saying, do you compare him to a young Joe Cole? I'm sorry, no, not really. like I don't even think I don't understand it. Like the hype on him. Like let me hear your thoughts.
I'm not sure why anyone said he's like a young Joe Cole. I think he's more like a young Bilbo Baggins than a young Joe Cole. But I can see why people rate him, and I thought in pre-season he done really well. The main thing with Coventry is his stamina, like Souček, is an absolute joke. There was a stat that came out last year. He ran, I think it was 1.6k in a 120-minute match with extra time, which is a similar amount to what Souček ran against Man United. On the ball, he's also decent. I can see why people rate him. He's similar to Josh Cullen, if I'm honest.
And look at Josh Cullen now, captain of Anderlecht by Vincent Kompany, and we sold him for 500k. I don't know with Connor really. I don't see it. I've seen many under 23 games over Dagenham and Redbridge because they're like that's 5 minutes from my house. And I'll be honest with you, I've never seen the hype on him. Like I haven't seen the hype on the next man I'm going to mention, which is Nathan Holland. Like I just don't see it myself. When people are sort of saying to him, "Can Holland come in and do a job?" or "Oh, we're going to give Holland a chance," he just doesn't cut. He just doesn't cut the league for me. I don't know about you.
He's too skinny to play in the Premier League. You can get away with it if you're absolutely brilliant. Holland isn't absolutely brilliant. He's a decent player. He wasn't excellent on loan at Oxford in League One. Obviously, he scored that incredible goal against Newcastle in the cup. But his actual record overall in all competitions was Minnie Mouse standard. It wasn't that
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So I don't think Holland will ever be a first team player because people seem to forget how old he is as well. He's not 20 years old. He's 23.
Mm. Yeah, I agree, mate. I do. I really do on that. He's another one. I don't see him. I just don't see it. Do you know what I mean? Not to say that he might not come good in a couple of years' time. Like he might be a late bloomer or something. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it myself. I'll leave it on this one with you, this player, and then we'll move on. Odebekio. Now, I know your thoughts on Odebekio, but tell the people your thoughts.
I'm in the under 23s and the under 21s, and I know Odebeko. He's a really good striker. His finishing is actually brilliant. Simple
Mm,
as that. I'm sorry, his finishing is fantastic, and I believe finishing wise, he can be a Premier League level player. The issue is, as you saw in the Man United game, his overall play at the moment, in my opinion, is not Premier League level at the moment. I really do think he could do well with a loan, in my opinion. Maybe
mm,
to the Championship or League One next season. Because in the Man United game, he did look out his depth. There's no point putting any cards all over it or lying. He didn't look
mm,
anywhere near good enough. But
yeah.
then again, we've seen them sort of performances from a lot of our strikers in big games this season. So you could argue he didn't get service, but he definitely didn't help himself. On the ball, I didn't think he was great.
Do you think he needs to be loaned out?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
And what
loans are
standard? And what
um
standard league would you say?
Championship or League One.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I actually think he should go League One first. Like it seems like Charlton, MK Dons in there who would happily, if someone said, "Right, you go, you've got a striker here, right, youngster, go in there, tear it up in League One next season, Championship." And then in a couple of years, he might be ready for us. Like Jermaine Defoe done it.
Yeah, he's
Look at
only
Jermaine Defoe.
18 years old as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's got time on his side. But when you look at Jermaine Defoe, when many years ago, he went out on loan to Bournemouth and he scored 25 goals in a season. And that's exactly what needs to happen with Odebekio. Um, when he come on versus Manchester United, I thought he was lost. If I'm honest, I looked at him and I thought I wanted him to do well. Like I really wanted him to do well. I wanted him to sort of make something happen, but he looked a bit like a rabbit in headlights for me. And I just think if if you're like that at Old Trafford, and really like that's one of the biggest stages in the Premier League to play at Old Trafford, then you're not ready. And I did have this little debate with someone on a different show, and they said, "Well, how can you say he's not ready?" And I said, "Well, tell me that he hit. Like, are you telling me he is ready? Because if you are, then he, to me, I look at him and I think, not for me, not yet. Do you know what I mean? Good player, got the build, got the speed, got everything about him, but he needs to. In football, confidence is a big thing, and to me, he needs to be confident, and I don't think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's certainly, I won't say too much, but he doesn't strike me, as you said, as someone who's too confident in terms of his position in professional football. I think he does rate himself in under 23s. I think he knows he's a really good finisher, and he's both
Mm.
footed. But does he believe he's ready for that step up yet? I don't personally believe so.
Hey, mate, we've got our first comment. It's only took an hour. Right, I'll put it up on there. So there we go. Right. Well, lads, opinions on our mentality this season. The boys sounded stricken with the performance against Leeds and something you just love to see. Mr. Woods or Jay Woods, I totally agree, mate. I think the mentality, and there's one man that I will say about our mentality this season, and that's Declan Rice. And I happily say that openly. I think since he's been captain of this club this season, we look a completely different team going forward. Nothing against Mark Noble, love Noble, but as a person, Declan Rice has drove this team into a different direction. Yolfo, how you doing, mate? But yeah, going back to this comment, totally agree. What do you think?
I agree with what you just said. On the comment, I completely agree with you, Jay Woods. You make a good point about the mentality and the fact that it's something that has improved this season. They did sound sickened against Leeds. I imagine in the dressing room as well, they wasn't celebrating. Moyes was calming them down and saying that weren't good enough. So it's a good sign.
Mm, mm. Have you ever seen? Keep your comments coming in, people. Anything you want to ask, fire away. We'll answer it. Have you ever seen a better mentality in this team?
In this team or at West Ham?
At West Ham.
Probably not. No, if I'm honest, which is quite depressing to say because, well, actually, is it? Not really. I
Yeah.
don't think I have. I think the standard of players we have are exceeding their level on paper as well.
See, Foe. I like Foe. He's a good lad. He makes a good point. Souček, Kafal, Lingo, the greatest of all time, have changed the team's mentality alongside existing players upturning form. Yeah, I agree. I think Souček and Kafal. I think Kafal is absolutely first class. I mean, I'm not being funny. I think like I'll give him a 7 in a ratings on Monday because he just does the basics well. Like there's nothing to shout about, and I just think he's been first class. What do you make of that comment? Souček, Kafal, and Lingard have changed the team's mentality. The only thing I will say about Lingard is you can't really say that he's changed the mentality because we was playing good before he arrived. Like we weren't playing bad. So on that one, he's helped, but I wouldn't say he's made us bit better. But we was playing well before he arrived. But I think the emergence of Rice as captain, I think, is massive. If I'm honest, I think the way people like perceive us now as a good team. Do you know what I mean? Foe, if you could tell your friends about us, it would be handy, mate. You know what I mean? But what's your thoughts on Souček, Kafal, and Lingard?
Yeah, firstly to Foe, am I right in saying, James, this is going to be a fairly regular show as well? So we're going to try to get some people onto it, me and you. Also, Foe, what's your favourite takeaway? Drop that in the comments. But on the actual questions, Souček and Sufal are the ones who have really changed our mentality. Even them doing little things, but like coming in on days off, and just showing their commitment to the team is really good to see. I think they've brought along that title-winning mentality which they had at Slavia. Yes, they were playing against players that, let's be honest, if they were playing with ducks in ponds, it would be a similar level. But they had a title-winning mentality because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what level you're at, they were winning leagues. So it's good to see.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think they've just changed the dynamics of West Ham, if I'm honest. I totally agree with that. Jay Woods, say GSB give Moyes 100 million if we get into the Champions League. Who are you buying? If they give us 100 million, I'll be stunned for starters, right? But if they do give us 100 million, I believe we need about 5 or 6 players. I believe we need we need 2 strikers at the club. That is a major thing. Like, you can't rely on Antonio, you can't rely on his fitness record. I think we need 2 midfielders, if I'm honest, like 2 central midfielders as backup. Because we've been very, very lucky with Rice and Souček not getting injured, not getting suspended, anything like that. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think we need a left back. I think we need a goalkeeper. West Ham Online, take it away.
We definitely do need a left back, in my opinion. I don't personally believe, and this might be controversial. Oh, good point, Fo. I had an Indian 2 nights away. It's brilliant. Also, Fo, what's your favourite kids' TV show? Back to the question. I don't believe overall this is, as I've said, going to be controversial, but I don't believe Creswell's a European level left back. That's probably my most unpopular opinion on my stand at the moment, but that's just my opinion. I think he's a European level set piece taker, but not a European level left back. And I think we need to be looking for another left back, whether that be a backup or a starter in the summer.
Yeah.
As well as the fact I think we need another midfielder or 2 and 2 strikers.
Yeah, I agree. Even Fo's just put it here. Photo man said goalkeeper, a left back, left wing back, central midfielder, 2 strikers. That's my shopping list. I agree with that. I think we need another midfielder though, like, if I'm honest, because we must be the only club who's relying on both our midfielders to stay fit the whole season.
Yeah.
And you can't do it. You just can't do it. And next season, if we've got any sort of European football and cup competitions, they can't play every game. They're not superhuman. So, it's 100 million. Could buy us a lot, really. How important do you think it is that we do get European football this year to keep the likes of Rice and Souček at the club?
It's definitely crucial. I think 6th and above is the aim. 7th I'd take, if I'm honest, but it would only get you the conference, which teams such as probably you'll be playing teams that couldn't even beat Disney XDFC, so it will be worrying. Joe Woods, personnel by Lingard. Yep, if you haven't, I don't know if you've been here the whole show, Joe Woods, but I mentioned Berger earlier as a player we should be looking at. He's a really good midfielder, and he's gone under the radar because of Sheffield's form and his injury, but he is a really good player.
Do you have any questions, West Ham Online? Anything that you want to ask? Anything that you'd like to ask the people, ask me before we come to the end?
Yeah, I did actually want to ask you a question. To the comments as well. Firstly, I've got 2 questions. What would it take for you to be GSB in?
Right.
And the second question, a bit more of a generic one. What's your favourite TV programme?
Well, I mean, I'm too busy doing all this YouTube stuff to watch TV. So, you know what I mean? Anything football related, sports related, that's a bit of me. So, yeah. Do you know what I mean? What would it take, on a serious question, what would it take for me to be GSB in? I'm sorry, mate, but that ship has well and truly sailed, in my opinion. I'll tell you the reasons why. The first reasons why is what they've told us and what they've sold us. Like, we can all see it as fans that we need a lot of investment in this team. Like, let's not be silly now when we say this, but we are massively overachieving at the minute with the size of the squad that we've got and the transfer budget that we have at our exposure. Right? I mean, so to me, they need to start sort of being as ambitious as every fan wants to be. And this year will prove it totally. If we get any sort of European football, if we get European football and they think £60 million budget, and that's including players that we have to sell, is acceptable, then I'm sorry, but they're not as ambitious as us. I think they're keeping themselves there until they get their hands on that stadium, and then they will sell West Ham. And that's what I believe. They're very money orientated, and to me, I could speak to every single fan and say, "What do you want for West Ham?" And they will say the same thing. It's not about money. Like some of it's about history, some of it's about it goes back into generation after generation. Um, like I was born a West Ham fan. My granddad was a West Ham fan. His family was West Ham. I mean, I got so it means a lot to us as fans. Do you know what I mean? And one thing West Ham fans, I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but one thing West Ham fans don't ask for is trophies and European football. We want it, but we don't expect it. Like we're not saying we expect to be a top six club because we're miles away from being a top six club. We might be now, but we are miles away from competing with the likes of Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, even Tottenham to a point, because they've had their Champions League, they've had their Europa League, they've done their time in there. That's why they've got the players at their disposal. But yeah, that's the reason why I won't ever be GSB in, because I think they've done their time, mate. I think they've took us as far as they can, and I don't think they can take us any further.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the main issue. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. If we finish anywhere lower than that, then yeah, do you know what I mean? Jay Woods, work for the badge, not the team on the back of the shirt. That's what the team represents this season. Yeah, I totally agree. I agree that they're all playing for each other this year. And there's the major thing about the club this year, there's no ego. There's no big ego problem at the club where there's been before, where people think they're better than they are. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with that. What's your thoughts, West Ham Online?
I think it's a really good comment and a really something I've reiterated on a lot of occasions this season. I think on paper, you could argue our squad 2 years ago was better than the current one. However, this team has got much more smart about it. Well, that was a really stupid sentence, actually, quite ironically. But this team is much more street smart. They know what they're doing on the pitch. We have good organisation. We know how to win ugly. And as you said, every player's putting their body on the line, which was shown no more than the game at Spurs with the way that Souček and Dawson defended in the box was heroic.
Yeah, I agree. This is the best West Ham team I've seen, as in morale and team spirit, probably since the 2003 relegation, if I'm honest. Like when we got relegated in 2003, we went on a run that was one of the best runs ever. And we went down on 42 points. So to me, it took nearly 18 years to get this sort of winning mentality, that sort of thing. Like Foe's just put a good point here, and I will get onto it in 1 second. But yeah, the mentality is a big thing with us. Like Declan Rice brings that. At Manchester City last week, he goes, "I'm disappointed that we've lost against Manchester City," right? But he said, "We don't slip now. We keep going. We're like this is a bump in the road." Like, and West Ham of old have always been, you lose one, you lose four, and that's how it is. And like what we've always been known for is the fact that we will go and beat the big teams like the Manchester United's away, the Arsenal's away, the Tottenham's, like etc. But then, like now we're beating the teams around us and below us.
Yeah,
and we're not.
That's
and
a
we're,
really
and we're
good
not just,
point, though.
And we're not just beating these teams around us. We're beating them comfortably and all. Like the Sheffield United home game, I was very sort of like that after I think we had a defeat against someone, and I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I think it might have even been the Fulham game. Well, we might have drew a game and it was awful.
Yeah, I think we drew to Fulham. Then we had the Man United game.
That's the one. Yeah,
that's
the one. And basically, that's what it was. And I was like, I don't know. But then they just they get there, got it done, finished, move on. And I like that in the team, I must admit. So let me say these comments for you at West Ham Online, and then you can respond. Major investment in the training facilities, upgrade data analysis and recruitment network, make appropriate football appointments, director of football, technical director, investment in the squad, and stay out the media.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Bo, that's the most stupid comment I've ever. No, I'm joking. That's the best comment I've seen in ages. That's a brilliant point. Everything you've put there, I completely agree with. I think training facilities, we have the worst in the league. Harsh but true. Porter Cabins FC, under 7 football tournament toilets FC, Tim Pot FC. That's our training ground. We can't have it any longer. And that is one of the issues with GSB as well. They promised us that we'd improve, that we'd get a state-of-the-art training ground. I mean, if that's state-of-the-art, I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, because that is one terrible training ground. Upgrade data analysis and recruitment network. I believe we are doing that now. I believe Moyes is the one improving it, and I believe our recruitment over the past year has been excellent. Before that, it was arguably the worst in the league once again.
A minute. Let me move on. West Ham Online's in the house. West Ham Unofficial is in the house. Sorry, he's in the house with me.
Hello, Jake.
If Jake wants to come on quickly, he can. If West Ham Online can send a link to him, it'd be handy. But if you want to come on, Jake, and you're more than welcome, mate. Going back to Foe's question here, which I did like this one. I would reconsider my opinion on GSB out, not necessarily change it to GSB in. Now,
one second, James. Let me just send the link. I'll be back.
That's all right, mate. That's all right, mate. And I wouldn't say I agree, but my opinion on the GSB situation will never change, I'm afraid. At the end of the day, I just think I think they've done their time. And as a club, we need to go in a different direction with financial backing. And the best way of summing that up on Foe's comment there is basically you've only got to look at Everton. Everton have got investors and they're trying their best. They've got a top quality manager in Ancelotti. Now, I know Ancelotti wins games, loses games, but so do we all. But they're trying their best to sort of build their team up. And Everton ain't far away from the top 4 as much as we ain't. The difference is Everton have got financial backing now, and that is a different issue altogether. They've got the financial backings, whereas we're trying to find gems in the rough, and it just doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? I'm afraid, and when it doesn't work, it can be an issue. But as I say, regards to that comment, GSB in, I don't think I'd ever be GSB in. They would have to literally pump in serious money and change a lot of things beforehand. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. I'm going to get to Jay Woods' his comment. I'm going to be proper sickened when Noble plays his last game for us. Still think he has a lot to offer coming off the bench in the final 15 minutes of games. He's done his time, my friend. He's done his time, I'm afraid. I think he knows it. I think he knows that the time has come to an end now for him. And basically, it's all about now basically moving on and letting other people come through. Right. Let's get the boy of the moment in. West Ham Unofficial. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, hi West Ham Online. Hi James, you okay?
Cool.
Yeah, mate. First of all, I've got to ask you, how was your first day back? I've got to ask.
Wearing masks all the time isn't ideal, but yeah. I had PE first, scored 2 goals in football, but I got a bit wet, so yeah, it was alright.
That's all right. 10 years' time, you'll be signed for West Ham. Right, I was going to ask you a few things, Jake. First of all, thoughts on Monday. What do you make of it?
Oh, we won. I mean, that's the bottom
Yeah.
line against Leeds. We won. It wasn't pretty, but we won. So I think that's all that matters, I think.
Thoughts on Noble's open letter?
It did. It was touching. I thought it was very good. And happy to see him stay on for another year.
Yeah, I agree, mate. And basically, Fabianski signing a new 1-year contract, right? Extension. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this could solidify that we're not going to sign a goalkeeper in the summer. Perhaps, I don't know. I think him signing till 2022. I like him. I think he's still got a year left in him. But the only thing that worries me is these injuries. I think if we would have waited, because the way I look at it, we've got 11 games left. If he gets another injury before the end of the season, I'd be perhaps, if he's going to continuously get these injuries, and Darren Randolph keeps getting these injuries. So if we don't buy one, we're then left. I think Martin could go in the summer, and then we're left with the young hands of Nathan Trott, and that could be a problem if he's not up to it, like you say, James.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you this question that Jay Woods put up earlier. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Say GSB give Moyes 100 million if we get in the Champions League. Who are we buying?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? Right, so 100 million. For me, I'd sign up Simmer, however much that's going to cost. What we saying for that? 40, 30, 40, something like that?
Yeah, I agree. West Ham and Lyon, do you agree with that, yes or no?
Simmer, I'd rather Ivan Toney, if I'm honest, but I wouldn't be opposed to the Simmer deal. Also, when you're ready, James, I've just got some questions through from the people on Instagram if you want to hear.
That's all right. I'll just do what Jake's fantasy 100 million signings are, and then we'll get straight to it. So you're going to say Seamer, yeah, right, as a striker.
Yes, Simmer. Yeah.
Who would you like as a central midfielder as cover?
I forgot his name. The guy from the Czech Republic. I forgot what his name is. That's the only one that's really come out, hasn't it? What's his name? Is it Kranich? Is that the one?
Crow, I think.
That's it.
Crow.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's the only one we've been linked with that I've seen personally.
I don't know if you've watched the earlier parts of the show, James. Sorry, Jake. But me and James were discussing Sander Berger from Sheffield United. Do you think he'd be a good signing?
Yeah. I do think he's quite good. Yeah, I do like him. But I mean, we haven't been linked with him, have we? We could, to be fair, we're linked with every Tom, Harry, whoever, aren't we? But I'd take him. I think there's many out there that I'd take. For me, there's a lot, but it just seems, we seem to be linking with goalkeepers, and that's it at the moment. Nobody's really talking about that. We've got Rice and Suchek and Noble, and that's it. But yeah,
I agree. That is an issue. That central midfield is an issue because if one goes down, then it's like a machine basically. And if one of them goes down, they don't work the same way. Like in this very, like you've got two good quality players there. You take one of them out. Will we get the same midfield? I don't think we do. Do you know what I mean? So that 100 million, if what Jay Wood says, I want a left back. I don't know about you. I think we need a left back. I think we need two central midfielders, two strikers, and a goalkeeper. So if we can get that for 100 million, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not on the whole train about we must get a left back because we've got Creswell there for another couple of seasons. We've got Johnson coming through, but I think our priority has to be a couple of strikers and a couple of central midfielders. Yeah, if we could get someone like Sander Berger and somebody else, I'd be happy with that. With Simmer's the one I want the most out of that because I think we really need a striker and a central midfielder as much. So yeah, that's what I do.
Good man. future manager. Right, West Ham Online, fire away your questions. Me and Jake are here to answer.
Okay, the first question coming in from Orbis Slippers 2. And he said, who is your favourite player from this season? Not necessarily who's been the best, but which player has been your favourite?
Thomas Souček.
Go on, Jake, and tell us your thoughts why.
I don't think we'd be where we are without his goals. What is he? He scored 9. Is it 9 goals this season? Where will we be without them 9 goals? I think he's been so crucial. He's been fantastic. His work in the midfield is very underrated because the ground he covers there, he's absolutely superb. So yeah, for me, it's Thomas Souček.
Well, for me, there's only one man, mate, and that's Kafal. I think Kafal's been absolutely first class. 5.4 million. He's come in. He's embraced the league. When he plays a good game, like a standard game, he gets a 7 out of 10 every time. Like he hasn't got to be fancy. He does his job well. I think he's been first class, really, if I'm honest. And I think
This is
what it is. And I'll let Jake come back at me in a minute. That game at Man City when he's on his knees crying, that just done it for me. Do you know what I mean? That's passion there for the shirt. Go on, Jake.
Yeah, I think the position we put in with that question at the moment is we could pick 4 or 5 players from our first team, whatever we could pick for that, and we haven't had that for a while, have we? You could easily put a fighting frog: Bonner, Souček, Rice, Kufau, Lingard for the time he's been there. Lingard, to be fair, anybody in that squad. Creswell's been superb. It's just.
You haven't even said your favourite, Craig Dawson.
Craig Dawson. How did I forget? I'm sorry, Craig.
Can you forget?
If you're watching, I do apologise sincerely, Craig. Please come back soon on the channel.
Oh, mate, Craig's in bits after that. Do you know what I mean? What's the next question, West Ham Online? Fire away.
Okay, I'm scrolling through to find the best one. Okay, right, Eric. Okay, you've tried to catch me out there. I'm moving on from that one.
Yeah.
This one's from Thomas Goes Running 15, and this is this is actually a really good question. To be fair, he says, "Who do you think's the better bargain? Craig Dawson for 2.5 million, or Vladimir Coufal for 5 million?"
I'd have to say Coufal for that because as much as I like you, Craig, I mean, you guys say he's the best right back we've had there for 20 years, and I think he's just for as much as well and as good as Craig Dawson is. I think that Coufal just edges that.
Right, I'm going to ask. Right, I agree with Jake. Coufal all day long for me, 100%. But I'm going to say Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea. Tell me Coufal does not get in Arsenal as a right back, Tottenham as a right back, Everton as a right back. People could say, well, Matty Cash, but Matty Cash goes forward but can't defend. Coufal can defend. So, yeah, for me, it has to be Coufal. West Ham Online, don't get caught out and just read the questions out.
Foes put it in the chat what it is, I think.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
Well, John 30, finally a standard name, has said, "Do you think we will get Champions League in all honesty? And love the page. Thanks for your support." I'm not sure.
No.
Anyway.
Do I think we get Champions League? Not yet. Ask me at the end of April. If you want me to be seriously honest with you, and I'll be straight up right now, no one can tell me where. The only thing they can tell me at the minute is Manchester City win the league. They can't tell me where Liverpool's going to finish. They can't tell me where we're going to finish. Everton, Tottenham. No one knows because we all just don't know. It's just too early to say. But if we come to the end of April and we're still lurking around there and we're still in the mix, then it is a possibility. But April's a long way away considering it's the beginning of March. So let's not think about Champions League yet. Let's just think about Manchester United on Sunday. What's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah. For me, yeah, definitely. Sorry. What was the question on that? I think I just the headphones went a bit funny there. What was that?
Basically, what I was saying is what was the question again? I forgot what it was. Where's the line?
You said.
Do you think we'll get Champions League? In all
Oh
honesty,
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, not for me. I think Europa League is for me where we're going to finish. That is what I think. I'd love to be proven wrong in the right way, but I think we've got to aim for that Europa League spot. I think that Champions League spot's a bit out of our reach for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
We've got another
I
one
agree.
in from Armitage 12, and he says, "Do you all know each other?"
Yes, we do. Virtually.
Yeah, virtually.
Yeah, me. Let me do this with you quickly, and then I'm going to we'll ask some more questions. Right, I'm going to do what me and Jake done the other day, like a quick fire ratings from Monday. I just want to see what both of you thought on that. So if I say Fabianski, just give me a number and a quick thought on why, is in like ratings. So if I say to Jake first, I'll do Jake first, and I'll do West Ham Online second.
Yeah.
So Jake, I'll start off with you, Fabianski.
Yeah, 8 for me. I think he did pretty well. Made some good saves. Nothing heroic. But he did his job. I thought. Not much he had to do, but 8.
Kafal.
He had a Kufal game. I think that's a high 8 again. I think he was. He did what Kufal does, doesn't he? I think. Great performance from him.
Right, we go over to the other side of Cresswell.
Oh, I thought he was superb. I thought his balls into the box. I thought his defending. I thought everything is in his game on Monday was superb. So I'm gonna go 9 for him.
Right. Issa Diop.
A hot 8. I'm gonna go. I think he did the same as what he's doing in the last few games. He's doing his job and he's doing it well. So 8.
Craig Dawson, the forgotten man that you forgot about.
Stop bringing this up. 9 for me. Superb again. He might even creep into that 10 because he got the goal. He saved the goal and he did what Craig Dawson does. Superb from him yet again.
The dream team, Rice and Souček.
I think Rice did a lot of mopping up in the midfield on Monday. I thought he was, picking the balls. He was picking it up in midfield really well. So I'm gonna go 8 for him. Souček, for me, I don't think he really had the effect that Rice did. So I'm gonna go high 7 for Souček.
Right. We'll go Lingard first.
It wasn't his best game in the West Ham shirt, but he did all right. He still had the impact, but not his best game he's ever had, but he still had impact. So 8.
Fornals.
4 Yeah. I think he did really well. He was superb, I thought, on that side. Picking the balls up, going forward, giving himself an option. And this is what he's been doing from the Man City game and last game. He was really, he's kind of adding the creativity, I think, to his game as well. And so a high 8 for him.
Saeed Benrahma.
8 for me. I think he had a really good game, but I really still do think that there's more in him, and I think that there's more in his game to come in the coming weeks if he gets played and not gets taken off on the 72nd minute. But he had his chance, and for me, I think he 75% took it. But I've got confidence he can do more in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah. And finally, Mikel Antonio.
6. I don't think he really did much. Again, he's he popped up with the goal against City, but he's not fit. I think he had one good run, and I said to Dad, I said he's getting back to some sort of full fitness, but he didn't. I thought he was quite. I thought he was quite invisible, and I think I think the game passed him by a little bit, but nothing majorly wrong. So just a normal 6, I think, for him.
Now I'm going to give you this rating, right? David Moyes.
I think I'm going to give him. I'm going to be a bit cheeky. I'm going to give him, for the starting lineup, I'm going to give him a 10, and for the substitutions and everything else, I'm going to give him a high 7. I think, because that is the starting lineup that we all wanted. I thought, but taking Said Benrahma off, I thought it was right to bring Bowen on, but take Antonio off. He was knackered. He was shot. So with the substitutions, I think it could have been a bit better, but. Yeah, so what I said.
Yeah, do you know what? I agree with everything you say. Right, I'll move it over to West Ham Online. Fabianski.
I feel like I'm going to be a lot more harsh, but Fabianski will give a 7.
Right. Kafal.
6.5.
Why? Why 6.5? What's your reasoning?
For me, 6 is what I give in my rating. 6 is an average game. I believe he was above average, but I didn't see him go forward that much. He defended well, but then again, he didn't have an abundance of things to do. I just think it was a standard, solid performance. And
right. We don't do half points on this show. We do full points. That's either a 6 or a 7. So come on, you got to name one. I think he's personally. I said it on Jake's show. I think he was a 7. I thought he was decent. He kept a clean sheet. I don't. When I say 6, if I was to say 6, I'd say like he was a bit. He was just okay, but like I'll go with your rating. So what is it? It's either a 6 or a 7.
I'll give him a 7.
Right. Cresswell.
8. Brilliant. Great performance. Fantastic.
Issa Diop.
See, I'll give him a 7 as well. I thought at times he was a tiny bit shaky, which people seem to have not picked up on as much. When he stepped forward at the start of the second half and Bamford had that effort, which he should have scored, and there was a couple of them. But overall, he done a good game. 7.
The fans' favourite, Craig Dawson.
I'll season number 1. I want to give an 8.5. I'll give him a 9. Brilliant. He got his goal. As you say, the fans' favourite. We spoke about his celebration yesterday on Jake's show. You know, he defines Brexit. I think if you stuck him in the political room, he would just have Brexit all over his forehead. If I likened him to a food once, and I said he's a Weetabix. Everyone loves him. He's solid, and he's just a fan's favourite.
The dream team: Rice and Souček.
Souček 7, Rice 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Pablo Fornals.
7. Had a really good game. I don't think he was quite an 8, but I thought he was fantastic.
Jesse Lingard.
See, the thing is, this is why I like doing the half ratings, because Lingard was not as good as Fornals. He just wasn't. But to give Lingard a 6 is ridiculous. I'll just give Lingard a 7 as well.
I agree with you there. He was quiet. He was quiet in the game. I'll give you that. He scored, but then that was it basically. But then he was a threat. But yeah, I agree. Said Benrahma.
I don't think he was quite an 8. I thought he played really well, but he didn't get a goal contribution. You know what? Yeah, give him an 8.
Give him an 8. Mikel Antonio.
6. Average performance. Didn't really do much. You've said he was a little bit tired. I agree. I'm pretty sure Gemma Collins could outrun him at the moment, so he does need to get his fitness back.
Poor old Gemma.
Shots fired. Yeah. Every single punt has got Gemma Collins in it.
David Moyes.
He got the team bang on. He got the team absolutely bang on. The tactics for me was bang on. I'm not really bothered that we didn't play that well on paper. I'm not that bothered about the sub. 8.
Right. Yeah, I agree there. I thought I thought the subs though was a bit iffy, but other than that, I think he got everything else bang on. I thought
I've
he
got
got.
one for you. What would you
hmm.
two rate Mike Dean?
Do you know what? I don't mind going first on this, but I thought he done all right. I thought he got every decision right. I think he knew he was up. The spotlight was massively on him this one because I think he could have got a lot of decisions wrong there. Like you know what it's like
Yeah.
when he's the ref. It's all about him. But I think he was so far on the microphone and the spotlight was firmly on him that basically the team outshone him. Basically, what's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, 8 for me. I think the penalty was right. So yeah, he didn't pull the headlines. He didn't do anything drastically wrong. So yeah, he did his job and he kept quiet.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Any more questions, West Ham Online, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we'll do a couple more questions, then I've got to go, unfortunately. We've got Thomas Hello, bit of a weird name, but he's asking, do you think Declan Rice will stay at West Ham beyond next season?
Yeah,
I believe so. I believe that boy don't move up to Manchester. So I believe anywhere in London is like if he was to move, he ain't gonna go and play for Tottenham. He ain't gonna. Arsenal won't pay the money for him. So there's only one place where he could go, and I don't think he's a Tuchel type signing. So I think the boat for him to go to Chelsea sailed. I think he stays with us for a while. The only issue that I have is maybe Manchester City might come in with in for him as like Fernandinho's long term replacement because Rodri's a good player, but let's be honest, Declan Rice is miles better than Rodri. What's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, with that Man City thing, I think I can see them coming in with a ridiculous bid of £100 million and Golden Sullivan looking in their lips and go, yeah, we'll have that. But I think he's got at least another 2 seasons left because if we get into Champions League, Europa League, the way we're going at the moment, I don't think he will want to leave. Let's hope not. I don't think he'll leave in the next 2 years for me.
Yeah, I agree totally. Next question.
Matthew.v.11 says, which which West Ham players do you believe should be in the England squad for Euro 2020/21?
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. I think me and Jake can both agree on that. People saying about Craig Dawson as like an England centre half. Not for me, I'm afraid. I think there's better centre halves out there. I know he's done well, but yeah, not for me. I think John Stones is playing really well. But then saying that, he is playing well. He's 30 years of age, still young. And when you've got Harry Maguire in your team and Eric Dyer, then I'm sorry, but yeah, like maybe I need to sort of think about what I'm saying. But yeah, possibly if we keep winning games to nil, and he keeps getting clean sheets, he's got to be in the mentioning, surely. What's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be a bit of a push. Sorry, Craig, but I think Aaron Cresswell could put up a good fight. I think perhaps just sit on the bench. I don't think he can get in the starting 11, but I think he's got a case. Yeah, Dawson could have a case. Obviously, Declan Rice, of course. Yeah, I don't think Lingard gets in there though.
Yeah, nor do I, mate. I think if he would have started the season with us, then I would have said yeah. But I think it's too late. I think there's better midfielders than Lingard at the minute who've played all season basically. We'll do 2 more questions, West Ham Online, then we'll wrap it up, mate. So make sure they're good ones.
Super Squid Squad says, do you believe that West Ham can be within a chance of getting a new training ground in the next few years?
That's hard, that is.
The only way they get a new training ground is if they sell one of their assets, and that's a big thing. Like if someone comes in for Souček at say 70, 80 million, that gets you a couple of players and rebuilds your training ground. Personally, I don't think it. I think in one way it's good to have a working class training ground, if that makes sense. Like I know it ain't like the 5-star treatment, but they're not there to have like a spa day. They're there to like graft, basically. Do you know what I mean? So maybe a cash injection over the next few years, but I'm unsure on that one. What's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I don't think, if I'm being completely honest, that that's going to be at the top of David Gold and David Sullivan's at the top of their list. I mean, they must think, oh, that's right, they got a bit of grass, they got a porter cabin, they'll be all right. I don't think that's going to be at the top of the list for must to happen in the next couple of years. I'd like to think so, but yeah, not in the next couple of years, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree, mate. And the final question from the Who.
The final question of the first episode. Firstly, to everyone, I hope you've enjoyed the show and please come back next time. But your final question today is actually an unpopular opinion. Terry WHU says, I'm sorry, but Souček isn't good enough. Despite the goals, his overall play is not very good and he can't pass very well. I know you'll disagree, but I want to know your thoughts.
Nah, listen to me.
Well, I want to know, first of all, I want to know how much alcohol he's had. Second of all, I want to know if he's under any influence of drugs, right? That's anything like that at all, right? But I will say my bit last. So, Jake, fire away while I simmer.
Listen, whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying, if you're watching this, Thomas Souček has scored 9 goals this season. He is the rock in our midfield. Alongside Declan Rice, I think you watch, if we take him out of that side, and I think we were very close to from that red card, a lot will happen. A lot would change. There won't be the same form. You won't get that. I like it when from the kickoff, from the start, Souček's ready to go. They lump the ball over. Dawson lumps the ball over at the start of the game, and he wins headers. I don't believe what I've just heard. Thomas Souček is closely second to as valuable as Declan Rice, I think, because the goals he gives, what they've got going on, Declan Rice and Thomas Souček is absolutely priceless, and I don't know where you got that from, mate, but I strongly disagree with that.
Right, my turn now. Let's get to it. Right. I'm sorry, but he's a world-class box-to-box midfielder. Like at the end of the day, when a man scores goals, Thomas Müller used to score goals for Bayern Munich, box-to-box. Like, and he goes and plays like as a defensive midfielder, box-to-box. When you've scored 8 goals, living in all competitions. I'm sorry, but he's up there with. I actually think he's more important than Declan Rice, and I don't know whether anyone else might not agree with that because he scores goals. He's our goal scoring midfielder. Like, and when you look at it like this, Pablo Fornals, Saeed Benrahma, Jared Bowen, right? They're our strikers, and he's got more goals than all of them put together. So that to me says it all. Do you know what I mean? The geezer's first class, and I'm sorry, but yeah, he's first class in my eyes, and he needs to be signed at this club. So yeah,
I'll just tell you what the bit he put next to it was. He said, the reason for me thinking this is the midfielders who are better than him in the Premier League. If we look at teams, let's go. Bad word in there, can I say, Terry, first of all? But he said, Brownhill is better than Souček. Xhaka.
No.
I'm sorry, right? This is a wind up. This is a wind up, right? So,
that is a bot account, West Ham Online. There's no way. There is no way.
He said on the ball.
I've got a lot of Arsenal mates who think that Xhaka's incredible. And I just went in school today to see him and said, I'll tell you what. If you're listening to this, how many errors leading to goals has Thomas Souček made this season or in the last 2 years? Xhaka's made 7. How many Souček made? No.
He's trolling. He's trolling, right?
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, I'm just going to
trying to get me wound up.
I know, right? I just want to hear the players. I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to hear the players from West Ham Online who he's saying are better than. So you got Brownhill. Who's next?
Okay, we've got 2 minutes to do this because I have to go, but I'll read you through all of them right now. So we've got Brownhill, we got Xhaka. That one's disgusting, can I just say? Bissouma from Brighton. You could I'd rather Souček, but Bissouma is a very good player.
Yeah.
Højbjerg from Tottenham. And the final one he put is James Ward-Prowse from Southampton.
I tell you what. All James Ward-Prowse can do is take free kicks. I'm sorry. Go on, James, you go.
Yeah. Well, I think that man needs to go and check himself into some sort of mental institution, I'm afraid, because I'm sorry, but what I'm hearing there is absolutely rubbish. And I'm not going to swear because I'm polite, but he's talking absolutely crap, basically. Right, let's start off quickly. West Ham Online, do you want to go? I'll let you go now.
Go.
Cheers,
all right, mate.
Thank you for the show.
Yeah, that's all right, mate.
Everyone will be back for episode 2.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you again soon. Take care.
Speak to you
soon.
Right.
But yeah, before I get to that, that's trolling at its finest. Right, with Højbjerg, I'm sorry, doesn't do it for me. He's a defensive midfielder, doesn't contribute to any goals. James Ward-Prowse is good at set pieces. He's a good player, James Ward-Prowse. I won't knock his ability, but if it ain't a set piece, he don't score. Do you know what I mean? So to me, that's a no for me on that one. Bissouma, don't score no goals. Good defensively, doesn't score. Who else was there? Xhaka. Let's not even comment about that. Man gets sent off more than he scored goals this season.
Exactly.
Who else did he compare? Brownhill.
Brownhill.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think this person is like there's definitely drink involved somewhere, or he's under the influence or something. Because that's a bit silly in my eyes. But my opinion on Declan Rice and Souček is they are like the dream team. One goes, one sits, the other goes, the other one sits. They work together as a pair. Would I say Souček goes and plays in a top 4 team or top 6 team? Does he get in Manchester United's team? I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does get in Manchester United team.
Can I say? I think he's better than Fred any day of the week, and whoever they had. Who else do they have in midfield? James.
Scott McTominay.
That's a bit more of an argument, but still, Souček's better than them.
Yeah. Do you think he gets in Liverpool's team?
Yes, I do. At the moment, I think he does. I really do.
Right. Do you think he gets in Chelsea's team?
Mason Mount and Thomas Souček in the midfield. Kante.
I think he gets in front of Jorginho straight away.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think he brings more. Does he get in Arsenal's team?
Oh, yeah, completely.
And I don't know whether I've said it or not, but does he get in Manchester City's team? I don't think he does in Manchester City's team. I think they've got too many good players.
They don't play like that. The thing is they don't play like that, do they? They play with skillful players. They're not a lump the ball long counter attack team, are they? So I don't think he'd fit the style of Man City's team. But I think he'd easily get in all of them sides, easily.
Yeah, see, Fo's just said it brilliantly. Højbjerg, Bissouma, Ward-Prowse are all good players, but Souček offers so much more overall, let alone 9 goals. I agree totally. And to end on that note, on the first episode of The View from the Sidelines that I've decided to sort of start doing.
2 hours, James.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting into the 2 hour bracket, but
I
yeah.
know.
But I will let Jake go. Jake, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on,
Thank
mate.
you. Thank you.
I will catch up with you soon, and I will
Yep.
end
I'll
credits
stay in
soon.
the back,
But
mate.
no worries, man. All right, you take
Cheers.
it easy. But yeah, I'm going to end it on that, mate. 2 hours of West Ham, the view from the sidelines. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been interesting. Different topics, different conversations. I know it's been a bit long, but when you talk football, things just seem to get discussed quite a lot. So, yeah, that's enough from me. And yeah, I will catch up with you again soon. So, take care. All the best. Stay safe and come on, you Irons.